No question about it. If you're a passenger, you don't have to identify.
You are now breaking the law. You're interfering with the traffic.
Voice alone can't be deemed interference.
Okay, yes, it is interference. You think you
Voice alone can't be. What's your name and badge number?
It's printed on my shirt. Move out of the way.
Are you trying to intimidate me?
I'm not trying to intimidate you.
So why are you so close to me?
Okay, give me your ID. You've interfered with an investigation. If you refuse to give me your ID, you're going to jail. Hey, go ahead.
Get your supervisor on the scene.
I don't need a supervisor. You can see him down at the jail. You're going to jail for interference.
What's interference? Just so you saying
interfering with my investigation.
All right, he got his. All right, he got his hand.
You have no right to interfere with an investigation.
He put his hands on me. Can I put my phone in my pocket?
Behind your pocket.
So deprivation of rights under the color of law.
No,
not at all.
I have a right to record.
You do.
You can record. I don't care.
So you're saying because I said something that's interfering?
You can stay away.
Get your supervisor on the scene before you make a big mistake.
Let's go.
You see this? I don't need a supervisor.
Okay, get your lieutenant on the scene.
You're going over to my car.
3106. We have another 95 out here.
So you telling me
You have
is your body cam on?
everything I'm on. Okay, you think you know the law?
So you going in my pockets right now? I don't consent to search your seizures.
You are interfering with my
I don't
when you
consent
take
to
my
search. Get your super. So you turn my phone off too?
I did, yes.
Okay, you turn.
don't have an ID.
Man, cops can be such damn crybabies. You're interfering with my investigation. Let me give you some facts, all right? So this happened in Killeen, Texas, all right? The police chief, he's backing these cops. His name is Chief Charles F. Kimball. Released a statement saying, and I quote, while conducting their investigation, they were approached by an individual who interjected himself into the investigation by engaging with other individuals in the vehicle, distracting the officers and creating a safety hazard for all involved parties. The subject in question was arrested and charged with violating section 16-107, interfering with or obstructing an officer. Okay, now let me remind you, it is legal to record in Texas. It's legal to record police officers in Texas. It's also legal to talk to individuals in Texas. Both of those are two legally protected things you can do. Here's the fact of the Texas law. In Texas and other states, it is legal to film, it is legal to photograph, or otherwise record anything that can be seen in a public place. Those who are out in public, whether they are police officer or a member of the public, do not have what's called reasonable expectation that anything they say is actually private or even do, all right? It is important to note that while it is legal to take recordings of police and others in public place, police officers may ask those who are recording to step away from the scene if they feel that person is interfering with police business. In cases such as these, those recordings and interaction must comply, all right? The man was more than enough distance away, no interference, okay? While police can ask members of the public to step back if they are interfering with police work, members of the public can also politely remind police officers of their rights if they are only asked to stop the recording. However, the police cannot seize a person's phone or tamper with the photos and other recordings that were taken in any way. The only exception to this is when the police officer has a warrant to take the phone. Overstepping here, okay? This is why people do not like the police. This is part of it. If they're doing their jobs lawfully, a man saying, as a passenger, you have certain rights, who's remaining distant. As a law enforcement executive, law enforcement officer, you should be okay with somebody actually knowing the law. I mean, it's really ironic, isn't it, that those who sign up to work in law don't like it. They don't like the law. They don't want you to know the law. Why would a law enforcement official want you to not know the law? So they can manipulate you, so they can violate the law, so they can get away with it. Ben, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like to that point, it's very interesting that A police officer is the only person that is allowed to use ignorance of the law as a defense. The only person, they're the only, everybody else, right? If you take a right turn on red and you're not supposed to, you can get pulled over, you're still gonna get a ticket. But if a police officer says, oh, well, I thought this was the law, I thought the law was this, then courts have very consistently sided with police officers and said, oh, well, the police officer didn't know the law, so it's actually totally fine that they arrested you for no reason because they were trying to do their best. They're the only person that magically gets to not know the law. And then the notion of creating a safety hazard. Look, the only safety hazard in that situation was the man with the badge on his chest, okay? Like, let's just be totally real. It's just obscene that we are all expected to perfectly know the law. We're not allowed to recite it to police officers because if you let the police officer know what the law is, then that it removes their ability to use ignorance as a defense and then puts us in this situation. That's why police officers are so upset. They don't want themselves to be reminded of the law lest it make them have to do their jobs properly.
Yep, and listen, as I've said before, and I will say again, the policy is accurate, the law is right in the state of Texas, but when culture is adversarial to the policy, culture will eat policy alive every day, just like you saw in that scenario.